welcome to the 10X Detail podcast, helping detailers 10X their business one show at a time. Today we're talking to Mike from Auto Massage in very cold Grand Forks, North Dakota. What's going on, Mike?
Not too much, Dave. Just enjoying a sunny day. It looks warm outside.
But how cold is it?
Actually, I think we're on a heat wave, so we're in the 20s and 30s this week. Last week was 20 below and such. So,
wow, almost Speedo time.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you have going on over there, and why you started your business.
Okay, a little bit about me. I'm 47 years old. Always a 12-year-old at heart. Been working in various facets of retail since school. I worked as a warehouse supervisor, as a guitar and amp salesperson, and did some purchasing as well in that time. Moved on to production painting. I did that for 6.5 years. Absolutely loved working in production. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of different and new inventory methods doing that. Once the economy, in 2020, everything kind of went haywire. So after 4 rounds of layoffs and me being the only person left on my team, not knowing if I was going to have a job again, I looked at my wife and I said, well, should I start my own business? And, she's very supportive of everything I do and vice versa. So here I am 3.5 years later, running Auto Massage and just enjoying it.
Great. And you've lived in North Dakota all your life?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
All right. Tell me what makes you, or why do you love detailing so much?
Well, it kind of goes back even when I was a kid. When I was going to graduate high school, my initial thing was to go to auto body, and my dad was a mechanic for over 35 years, and he didn't want me to be in that type of an industry. But I've loved taking something that's trashed, because I do custom painting and stuff too. So, and just putting the life back into it, taking something that's dirty or something that's rusted and corroded and bringing it back to, as close to new as possible. It gives the person the feeling of satisfaction. Even production at the end of the day, I could turn around and look and see that I'd painted, 30 buckets and a few stump grinders. So there's just a satisfaction at the end of the day to see that you've accomplished something.
Excellent. And what is it about, you want to see something from rough to polished? And is there something else in the detailing realm that you like besides that?
Yes. The people's reactions, I guess, when they get their vehicles and their, family trucks, here's vehicles that, have toddlers and stuff, and the parents pick it up. They won't let the kids back in, so it stays clean. But, customer reactions, making people happy is, probably the most rewarding part of it.
Right. So we work with people all over the world, and I have guys in Miami, Los Angeles, all over the place, and those are big cities, and there's a different kind of detailing business there. And I do work with some people in the Midwest, in Indiana, and other places. You're in North Dakota, so it's pretty rural. I'm sure, and I don't think you've run companies and detail shops in other places like Miami. What is it like? What kind of trucks and vehicles? And you must have all kinds of requests, from combines to pickup trucks to what is a daily life, and what kind of clientele do you have there?
My clientele, because where I'm located, the dealer, so I'll kind of back up a little bit. I'm the highest priced detailer in the area. So it was my goal when I started my business to have something a little bit more boutique than detailing shops, the dealerships, the car washes, the other detailers in town. I wanted to be a step above, or offer something better, as it were, not to sound arrogant. And that's kind of why my business name doesn't have the word detailing in it. I wanted something that wasn't just detailing. I wanted it to be something more. But my clientele, obviously, it's a rural area. A lot of four-wheel drive pickups, big crew cab Fords, Chevys, Dodges. Not a lot of, they're around here, the Porsches and Corvettes and stuff, which I've got a couple of, but primarily 80% of my business is, big farm pickups, daily drivers, family trucksters, that kind of stuff. I've done a couple of things for farmers. So one guy had, a headliner that mice had gotten into on his combine, so cleaned that up for him. But haven't quite gotten into the farm equipment area yet, but it's something I'm looking into.
Great. Yeah, there's awesome money in that. We have some guys in the Midwest doing ceramic coatings and lots of different things with the farm equipment.
Yeah, it's something I've got. There's a couple of dealerships in town, and I've done some legwork researching that the last couple of weeks here while it's slow, to try to tap into that market a little bit.
Great, and you're able to survive during the wintertime and the slow period when the weather is so crappy out there?
Yeah, so I make sure that I keep, X amount of dollars in the bank account so that, December through, March, I can pay all the bills, and help support the household.
Great. Speaking of that, on this podcast, we talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. So what are some of the good things that you've had happen to you and that you really like in the business? And then tell us about what are the downsides. I think you're hinting on it right there, is the seasonal effect of it. So can you tell us something about that?
As far as the upsides, obviously I love what I do. I've invested in myself. As far as education goes, I've traveled to Florida twice. I trained with Mike Phillips, doing vehicles, trained with him doing boats. That was one of the most beneficial things I've done is go to Florida and work with people that do detail boats day in and day out. So I learned a lot of tips and tricks and ways to do it more effectively and more efficiently. So my boat business has increased up here quite a bit the last year, which is great. Networked with a lot of people. I went to Rennie Doyle's Detailing Success. So I'm part of the mafia there, is one of the alumni. So having a great network of people across the country with all my trainings. Owner's Pride, of course. I've done with Matt Gregory, learning how to install paint protection film. So that's probably the biggest successes, just networking and education, reading books, having coaching sessions with guys like Ivan LaCroix, Dan Williams, to learn how to be a better business person, not just cleaning cars, but getting more of the backside understanding of it.
All right. So what's some of the downsides with all of this? And we want to go a little bit farther into some of the learning stuff because I'm very into that as well. But tell us a little bit about the downside of this business and where you're located.
The downside is obviously, as you mentioned, the seasonality of it. So this time of year, it's obviously slow. So I take that. This time of year, I usually take opportunities to I'll travel and take a class. This year I didn't because I'd been to 3 different trainings already, but use the opportunity to work on the business itself in the background while, I'm not detailing. I'm working on stuff for the coming season. What can I improve? Making sure I got everything I need to hit the ground running once the phone starts to ring. If it is slow. I've been working as a consultant at my previous employer, teaching and training new painters. So that's the downside, really, is just the seasonality of it. I can't really expect much more beyond that.
Right. Like some people are in Arizona. It's either hot or just kind of warm.
Right.
And so the season's booming all year round. And in Florida, you have the snowbird time, and then you have the not snowbird time. So but it's always nice, and your business is always rocking. So I definitely see that. One of the things that comes to mind when you're talking about the slow times and working on your business, that's where you can maybe come out with, either work with a designer or design it yourself, and new flyers and new T-shirts and new this and new that and new ads. And that's where, the Facebook marketplace, or not marketplace, but the ad manager, and kind of dealing with this stuff that we've talked about before on the podcast, is using the ads manager to target your best customers. You figure out your top 3 customers. And there are more people like Sally and Fred with the Corvette, and Jimmy with the Tesla, and Johnny with the lifted truck, and you go out there and you micro and just totally focus on those people on Facebook and Instagram, and they're out there, and then they find out who you are, and then it's. The slow time is not so slow if you could do that in the slower times. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I try to stay active on social media, at least once a week, or 2-3 times a week while it's slow. Just sharing. I got a blog that I make the effort to try either bi-weekly or weekly, put something up, whether it's detailing related or just life related. My next one I'm going to do on mental health, just kind of my struggles with it, but giving people a little bit more of an insight to more than just the business, but who I am, and then of course obviously targeting, showing things that I typically don't, like metal polishing. I got a video I put out with some old Chevy rims aluminum rims that I polished up for a guy, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Did you see some of the work from Forrest Day on the Facebook page, where he's taking some tractor trailer fuel tanks, and they don't even look like fuel tanks. They're so bad, and then he makes them into a total mirror. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. Like Evan Steger from Evans Detailing.
Yes.
And, he does some crazy, awesome stuff too.
And Joker Shine and some of the other guys out there in the metal polishing realm. You guys, those guys do amazing work. Definitely. So to increase business in the slow times or the not so slow times, what are you doing there? What marketing are you doing? Are you having referrals? Do you have any ad campaigns going out there? How do you get more people to walk in the door?
Primarily, up here, it's really, even in the digital age, word of mouth, in referrals is still number one. Doing quality work, making people happy, gains me a lot more business than, the money I spend on advertising. But when I do spend on advertising, it's primarily, Facebook, Google Ads, Instagram. Those are less expensive. I can hit a much broader audience, or a much more focused audience, for less money than I would, say, spending with a radio agency or a billboard, for example.
Right, or the back of the receipt at the grocery store is always a good one.
Yeah, yep.
All right, excellent. Well, speaking about revenue, let's go to a revenue ad. Your new go-to ceramic coating is here. Pearl Nano Extreme version 2. We call it XV2. Super easy to apply, ultra slick, and extremely chemical resistant. This is not your typical ceramic coating. This is an extreme ceramic coating. To find out what all the fuss is about, send us an email, sales@pearlnano.com. Tell them that you heard about XV2 on this podcast and receive 20% off your first bottle. Pearl Nano, dare to be different. All right. So what do you think about the Pearl Nano XV2?
I just installed. I got a new pickup, and I installed it on my Tacoma. It's black. It's gloss black, and I didn't want a black pickup, but that's all they had coming in, and the XV2 is it's amazing. I can honestly say it's the most impressive coating I've put on any of my vehicles. As far as easy to clean, if I take it through a touchless car wash, it comes out clean. There's no like residue or residuals left. I'm highly impressed with the XV2. Excellent.
It's our most successful, most popular coating in the 10 or 12 years we've had coating. So it's I appreciate that. And this isn't a paid advertisement like the last one.
No, I don't do endorsements or get paid for anything. If I believe in a product, I'll speak out about it.
Great. All right. So speaking of products, how about a detail hacker tip or trick? What's something that you do that maybe we don't know about, or maybe we do know about? A tool, a technique, or a product that just makes your detailing world a lot simpler?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. I would say that a trick, and this is I learned from Mike Phillips, but I applied it to other aspects too. With I've got the Pearl Nano, or not the Pearl Nano, the Rupes, the hybrid, the Nano, the little long neck polisher, and it's got the little nylon brush attachments to it. So, or the horsehair as well. So I'll use that for cleaning interiors, getting inside areas that need to be cleaned, that are pretty tight, that I wouldn't otherwise do by hand if they're real dirty. Also works well for if I'm putting, you have those treaded steps, trim steps on pickups or on SUVs, and customer wants a ceramic coating on the trim. I use that, I'll apply some of the coating onto those nylon bristle brushes, and I'll just run that brush back and forth over that treaded step and get coating in and everywhere, all the recesses, all the surfaces. Saves a ton of time.
But isn't that ruining the brush then?
No. I just rinse it out. I put it in some soluble solution right away, and if I use it for coating, it stays as a coating brush. I don't use it for anything else,
right?
Like interiors, but I rinse it out right away with soap and water, because the coating's not going to cure in that brush like that. So
great. So you're using a brush to get in the hard to reach places in some of the different parts of the trucks and those kind of things. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
I never thought of that. Okay. Excellent. All right. And how about any constantly learning? I'm always constantly learning. So do you have any books that you've read recently, like the 10X rule or Be Obsessed or Be Average, or anything that's that would help other people that you've read recently?
Yeah. So the books I've read most recently are I just finished up the 10X book this week while I was working on some details. Very interesting perspective. I'll go back and re-listen to it a couple of more times to pick up things that I might have missed. The Pumpkin Plan is a great book, but I think it's McAllowitz is his name. And then Marketing Made Easy. have all been quite beneficial.
Excellent. Those are good books, and I highly recommend, listening to books on audio, reading a couple minutes before bed, something like that, getting that success mindset in your head before you go to sleep. And any downtime in the car, in the shower, whatever, have something going and you can hear it there's just no downtime. It's just always learning about something from somebody else. I just finished the second David Goggins book, and I like to read these books that are just out of this world. These people do these things that are just superhuman, from Navy SEALs to extreme runners. Imagine running 200 miles. I don't even want.
Oh my God!
I don't even want to drive through 200 miles, let alone run 200 miles. So it's just crazy. But the mindset of being able to turn the pain off and turn off the hunger and turn off the screaming going on in your muscles, I just think that's incredible. The things that David Goggins and some of these other guys do, and some of these Navy SEALs that can go through all this training and climb up a mountain, take care of the enemy, and then come back undetected and then get picked up. And it's just mind-boggling, that's for sure.
I mean, I've watched, like on History Channel or one of those where they take you through Hell Week and SEAL Camp. It's amazing what they put those guys through. And they come out the other end, they're still alive.
Yes, and I've talked to some of these people. I was in the military with some of these people, and I was also in the military with people that the hardest thing they ever did was ring that bell during Hell Week and quit. And these were some elite athletes, and they're like this. They just get in your head, and you just can't get out of your own head, and they just at that moment felt like they just can't go on another second, so they go and ring the bell. But it's tough. It's tough. So tell us a little bit about what you think 10X means.
Bottom line, give it hell and don't let anyone tell you different.
Give them hell. Okay. Yes.
Get up in the morning, go to work, stay at work. If you think you can't do it, you got to go ahead and do it. That's, it's kind of the biggest thing I got listening to that book was he just acts. He goes and he does it. And that's, as an entrepreneur, that's part of your mindset you have to have. You have to act on it. You can't sit around and wait for it to happen or wait for it to come to you.
Absolutely. And like Tony Robbins talks about burning the ships, once you have your mind set on which way you're going, burn the freaking ships. There's no going back. We don't have any ships to go back. We have to go to the island. We have to make a village. We have to conquer the whatever. There is no going back. And then Jocko Willenick, he's a Navy SEAL commander, et cetera, et cetera. He talks about if he doesn't want to go to the gym, you know what that means? He needs to go to the gym. If he don't want to go do something, that means he's going to do something. So your brain is wired to think and to keep you safe. Okay, so I don't want to go climb that mountain. It's dangerous. I might fall off of it. I might die. That's your brain, from caveman days, keeping you safe. Well, that modern time says you need to go climb that mountain, because you don't know what's on the other side or whatever reason behind it. So, and going back to what we're talking about thinking, you are what you think about. That's why I say, whenever you're driving, have an audiobook going. I don't care if you listen to it, 100 times. There are ones that I listen to 60, 70 times. It's always on. If there's any downtime, I'm at the doctor's office, I'm listening to something. I'm whatever it is, there's always something going on, and you are what you think about. So if you think about positive, successful things and hearing successful people do hard things, then that's what your mind, they doesn't know the difference between reality and what's on the audio book. then you start thinking about it. Wow, how did David Goggins run 200 miles? How did he do his first 100-mile marathon and his whole body was giving up at mile 75, but yet he still was able to do 25 more miles? Absolutely insane. Or how does, Mark from the Navy SEAL commander, I can't remember his name at the moment, but anyways, has 5 multi-million-dollar businesses, and he was a 20-year Navy SEAL. How does he do this? How do you do this with a family and not get divorced and have enough time? Everyone has 24 hours. He must have a 56-hour clock or something. How do you get that much time? So anyways, you are what you think about is my point here that I try to just ram home to everybody. Don't think about negativity. Cut the time wasters and the people in your life that are just totally, that you don't need them and they just bring you down. Cut them, throw them off the side, burn the ships with them on it, and metaphorically, of course, and think about and do all the positive things that you're here to do, because we're only here for a short amount of time. What do you think about that?
That's there's very much a lot of truth to that. I'm fortunate. My bride of 23 years, 24 here this year, has always been supportive, and vice versa of each other. It starts at home. If your significant other thinks that you can do it, supports you, you're already 100% ahead of everybody else. It starts at home. And then just having that mindset where, I've kind of always been a person where if you tell me I can't do something, I'm, hold my beer and watch this. I'm going to damn sure try, and make sure it happens. So, from that aspect, it's, I'm very fortunate to have the support of her and a lot of family and friends as well, that give me the support, the encouragement. I've never had somebody say, you probably shouldn't do that. It's always been, go for it.
Well, that's good, because a lot of people have the opposite. Oh, that's dangerous. You could lose your shirt. You could go bankrupt. Yeah. Okay. I go bankrupt and I go do it again. And then,
right.
Most people
learned how to not do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I don't do it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like Michael Jordan's been trusted to throw the winning shot, and he's missed like 24, 48 winning shots. But you know what?
Right.
He's also totally dropped like 150 other ones, or more than that. I don't know the stats on that, but
precisely,
you got to try, or die trying.
Right. But and a good driving factor. For me personally, my wife and I, our parents all died within 4 years of each other, and it was long-term debilitating diseases and primary progressive aphasia, COPD, cancer, Alzheimer's, and we did. They didn't get to enjoy their golden years. And that was a huge part. Seeing that, being a caretaker, and that, it shouldn't take that to light a fire in you to see what you're capable of, but that lit the fire in me to, go do what I want to do now and see if I can do it, because, life is short.
I am right there with you. So my father died at 55. My girlfriend's father died at 57. Her mother's still kicking at 83. And so is my mother.
Awesome.
But, I'm 53, and life is short, and it does take, my kids are almost out of the roost, and I'm not waiting around for 65. Oh, I'm going to go retire. I'm going to go. I've already had a lot of fun in my life, and I'm going to have a lot more fun, and we're going to go do some awesome things. And I have a sailboat, and I have all these things going on. and business is rocking, and I'm, talking to awesome people like yourself, and I'm hearing these great stories. So, I don't care what the economy, and I don't watch the news. I haven't had cable in 8 years.
Neither do I.
Who cares? It's all a bunch of, hoo-ha. It's all a bunch of negativity, and,
it is. I literally have not turned on the news for 3.5, since before 2020 or during 2020. That's the last time I even turned any news on.
I get a snippet here and there.
Well, yeah, I get it because it just pops up on my internet browser here and there, but beyond that, I don't even turn it on to watch the weather report.
Yes. So they here in the Seattle area, they get it wrong every 5 minutes, so I don't even watch that.
Yeah.
I'll look out the window. So we went through some great things about, you are what you think about, and positivity, and cutting the what we call the energy vampires out of your life, and the toxic relationships. That is absolutely vital. But let's talk about a couple other things here. A lot of people are out there doing this for the first time. Some of them have been doing this for many other years. So what kind of tips and tricks, not tips or tricks, I'm sorry, what kind of advice would you give somebody that's either established or just up and coming? What would you tell, or you could tell a younger self of yourself 3 years ago, what would you tell yourself that you should do to better your business?
So for me, I've only been in business for 3.5 years. If I could go back and tell myself something, I'd say, ignore what your parents told you and go do the auto body thing. But, hindsight's 20/20, and you can't change yesterday, right? So I would say, for me personally, I had a game plan where, I told the wife, I said, I'm going to make $150,000, and I'm going to be educated. So the last 3 years, I've invested in myself heavily in education, traveling to Florida, Arizona, California, Montana, Nebraska, training with people and peers across the nation, and networking to make me the best in the area. That was kind of my goal. When somebody thinks detailing, this goes to the 10X book. When someone thinks detailing, they're going to think auto massage first, period, end of story. So, get your goals set, get your mindset. Did I make $150,000 in my first year? No, I made $40,000, but I'm going to hit $150,000 next year. And that's what my driving force is. So get yourself educated, learn the accounting side, the back side of the business. Don't quit your day job. So if you're making a $60,000 a year salary, in sales or whatnot, and you decide, hey, I'm going to go be a detailer, be prepared to not make $60,000 a year. That's a lot of small business entrepreneurs make that mistake where they quit one job and start another without really planning for the financial effects. So for me, I stepped into it gradually. I went down to part-time working as a production painter, and I worked part-time in my business, and I did that for 8 to 9 months until the phone started going crazy, and I had to make a decision whether I was going to commit to my own self and my own business, or if I was going to stay a painter. So at that point, when I cut ties and left my regular day job and went full-time into my business. So definitely have a financial plan to make sure that you're going to be able to cover your bills, and learn the backside, the accounting aspects, all the little invisible costs that you don't see on the face of the business.
Yes. So a couple things that you talked about there, that the 150 grand and you only made 40, that So I would recommend, now that you've read the book, you probably understand what I'm talking about, is let's go with 300 grand or 500 grand. And again,
Right.
you are what you think about. If you think about, I'm going to do 500 grand this year. And if it
Right.
falls short and you made 150, I don't think you're going to start crying. I think you're going to be doing
Precisely.
quite well, especially in your economy there. So your mind has this way of like, I don't know if 500 grand is real or not, but I'm going for it. And so if I fall short and then I go for 500 grand again and I have 200 grand the following year, wow, this is pretty amazing. And now you start thinking, okay, I'm going to make $1 million a year. And there are detailers out there. I know a handful of them that are pulling down literally $1 to $3 million a year. Maybe not single-handedly, but some of them are close. I know there's another one in Georgia that we just hooked up with that people are flying their vehicles across the country for them to work on. I just think that's incredible. But, and the guy has a car collection that would rival most pretty wealthy people. So I think that's pretty amazing. And then the secondary thing is your side hustle. Yes, you definitely, if you have a full-time gig and you want to get into this full-time, don't, have a nest egg, be prepared, do your training. You've definitely done this. Wow, I couldn't have scripted it better the way you've done this. And you've got your training. You've learned from the best of the best out there, Mike Phillips and Rennie Doyle and all the others. You've invested in yourself. That's the best investment you can ever make. And so I was in the Air Force for 20 years, and I started all this halfway through my military career. And by the time the last couple of years were very tough because I was making more than the base commander, and I wanted out. But I stuck through it to my 20, and I've been doing this. And that was in 2007 when I got out. I'm still doing this today, and it's awesome. And I had a family and a bunch of stuff going on. And don't quit until you're ready, but you can't be like, oh, well, I'm not quite ready. You're never going to be ready. You're never ready to have a kid. You're never ready to do almost anything. You just got to dive in and just do it, Like we have Matt Barlow here in the area, and he was a paramedic, and they wanted to give him the vax and force the vax on him, and he's like, no thanks. And he'd been detailing on the side for quite a while, and now he's a full-time detailer in the area, and I help him as much as possible, and he loves the products and everything, so you just never quite know, and like burn the freaking ships and just go do it, right?
Right.
Awesome. Tell us where we can find your Facebook page, Instagram, and website.
So my website is automassagellc.com. And Facebook, I'm on there under Auto Massage LLC, and Instagram, auto_massage_LLC.
Excellent. If you like today's show, please share it with others on social media and everything else. If you'd like to be on the show and tell us about your business like Mike has here today, go to callingalldetailers.com and secure your spot. There's a link right there on the front page. Thanks, Mike, for being on the show. And
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Remember to keep growing and keep 10Xing it.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure we'll see you on an upcoming show, and you can tell us a little bit about what's going on since we talked to you on this one. And my name is David Elliott from Pearl Nano and Calling All Detailers, and we're going to see you on the flip side, all right? All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a good one.
I grab the code, join every second and it never gets old.